Test. Probably. Let's try this out. Daytime. Okay, I'm live. Oh, of course, you're not going to hear. I'm going to hear anything because my headset's on. Don't worry, you can't see anything quite yet just because I'm finishing setting some stuff up. And now I gotta do the advertisements. One day I will have an actual loading screen. One day. Today is not that day. That's probably not the music I'm looking for. Where is community streams? Community streams, there. Plow that in there. Let's see. Oh, of course. How could I forget? Boop, there I am. Now I'm here, bouncing in the corner. Happy little hat. I still can't post, but what I can do is, okay, link, put that there. Nope, doesn't work. Oh well. Scroll down. Scroll down. Ah, yes, one last place. Oh, gotta get my copy back that. Boom. Alrighty. That should be about the good set. Heyo! Hi, Grandma. Hi, Dad. Glad you could join me. Don't worry, you'll get to see me do some stuff here in a minute. Right now, I'm currently just setting up. Decided to do a big early stream today because I didn't have work today, and I have no car to run any errands, so I decided I might as well get some stuff done. All right, so get right in, shall we? So some new stuff arrived, that is very exciting. We got some green stuff and tools for green stuff. This is a, for those of you who are not familiar, this is a 2-part plastic epoxy putty that you can use for gap filling, sculpting, all kinds of things. The big reason I want to get into this is A, gap filling to make my models look nice, and 2, I want to sculpt fur pelts for my space wolves, since they have the whole wolf Viking thing going on. So I got some of that. If I'm lucky, I will get to do some sculpting later today. Although I may have to get some extra materials together for that. Just set that aside. But today we are going to finish assembling Pack Ralof, who has been giving me quite the bit of trouble as of late. As the angle of the arms for these posable arms that I printed off, that I have a billion of now, and I'm really happy I have them because they're actually awesome. But they don't work well for when you want to have a standard guy with the auto bolter. You know, one of these auto bolters that they're just holding in two hands. Works great when you're talking about, say, and I'll show you some of my progress, this guy. They work great when you're, say, talking about this guy. Just let me pose him so that he's got that hunched down knife in one hand, got the bolter resting against his other hand pose. They're really great for letting me get poses like that you normally can't get out of standard arms without a whole bunch of cutting. But that's really nice about these. But the problem is the angle's not steep enough to actually get the, if you'll see here, how he's got the bolter across his chest like he's aiming down it. The angle doesn't get steep enough for the elbow to actually get it in the right place, and the arm holding the foregrip ends up short, and so you just end up with like this handless arm out in the middle of nowhere. But after some trials and tribulations and some failed prints, I have printed off a whole bunch of arms for exactly this purpose. So going forward, I have to make sure that I am aware of what I am giving them, because the bolter arms are kind of important to make sure that I'm getting right. So, who are we starting with? Let's start with our marksman man here. Uh-oh. Ah, dang it. I will go over some of my conversions here, but I will have to do some repairs on this guy because his arrow cycler fell off. So, let me actually... I'm going to take Ralof here, and I'm going to just go through some basic things that I've been doing to the whole squad. So this is the pack leader, Ralof. I've decided to name the packs, the Wolfguard leaders in each pack, so don't worry about knowing who he is. I've just given him a name. And I've given him the name of the guy who is the first person to speak to you in Skyrim, the Viking-themed Bethesda game. So, this is Ralof. He wants to know if you're finally awake. But just some simple things I did and I'm doing to the whole squad is I have some embossed symbols, both for the pack markings here and the chapter markings here. And all of them have these. I've got helmets that I selected individually for each one. Obviously, I've been going through some conversions for each one. Obviously, he's got a giant frickin' axe and a alien head that he's holding. And the final one that I've done, and this is one I plan on doing across the whole chapter of every model, is I've added these canisters to the backpack. I don't know if you can... Oh, hello, Annie. But if you can see here, I've added canisters to the backpack. It's kind of hard to see on Ralof because the actual... Here, let me get the other guy. Canisters here. There they are. That's much better. These are arrow cyclers that allow their enhanced senses to breathe in environments where otherwise they normally... Not breathe, but smell in environments where they otherwise couldn't normally, such as inside of a spaceship that they want to keep their helmet sealed. It allows a controlled intake of particulates in order to smell. And that's just kind of the basics there. And I've done my best to give, I have considered putting a camera on it, but I don't want to stress the equipment too much, mostly because it's out in the garage. And there's actually not that much to see. It just kind of moves up and down a little bit, because most of the time it's dunked down in the goop. We'll see about it, but, like, I need to actually have a camera for that. And a way to, like, run a, you know, have that camera connected to something streaming it. Or recording. But the actual visual process of the 3D print is not that interesting, because it is a, SLA printer, it's a resin printer, a UV resin printer, so it's a bed and it dips down into the goop, you know, dips down into the goop, and it cures, then lifts, goes back down, lifts, goes back down, and it only moves a few millimeters at a time each time it does that. I think it literally only moves like 1/10 of a millimeter each time it does a layer, and it just does this like, you know, 700 times. So there's not really a lot to look at here. But back to the pack here. I've done my best to give each of them their own like personality. You know, at least limited within the pack. And I have my guy here, he's kind of standing up straight with a, you know, more static pose rather than the like stepping forward of these guys, or even this guy. So I kind of am setting him up as a marksman. I actually think I've got his helmet here. I've selected you won't be able to see it because of how small it is and my fingers are in the way, but it's got a ocular, so it's got like an eye bionic on one eye, which I will paint up to be a nice glowy color. We'll have to decide what color I actually do that in, because I have my basic chapter paint scheme right here. But, you know, I'll have to get more creative as I do more individualized ones. So first thing I need to do is I have my sprue of arms here. I'm just going to get one. Sometimes you can just snap them off with your fingers. Sometimes you got to go with the clippers. It looks like these guys are finger. And I'm just going to make sure that this is nice and clean of the supports. Which, actually, I think this came off pretty darn clean. Dang. Yeah, that went pretty well. Okay. So now part 2, I'm actually... One of the things is, because I'm working with STL files and I'm not a modeler myself, I am kind of just printing the bits as I go, and I'm ending up with bits that are not quite complete. So I don't know how well you can see it when my hand's in the way. It's kind of hard to get the small bits close when they're not attached to something. But this has 2 hands holding it already attached. They're sculpted into the gun itself to make the connection more natural. But obviously this one has a hand. It's right here. It's got a little hand holding a little gun grip. And I don't need that hand. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our knife, and there's a little seam right here, and I'm just going to kind of be real gentle and just kind of work my knife through it. Whoop, off it came. Also, be ready. Keep like a firm grip on these things because they go everywhere when you start cutting. And now the next important thing is to make sure that I flatten the cutout. Because if it's not flat, the super glue will not have a great place to bond to. And I have to use super glue. I can't use plastic glue because I'm working in resin. Now I actually think I am going to glue this arm on first. I think I'm going to do this arm and get it in the position that I want it to be in. And then we're actually going to put the glue on here. And then position the gun on the wrist as I go. And I just popped off his aerocycler handling this. Alright. I'm going to have to figure out a better attachment method for those aerocyclers, because they are just falling off, because they are just kind of stuck on there with a little bit of glue. Whoop! Slipped free. Oh, actually, do I even want to glue this gun on yet? Interesting. That's actually a question. Because it's going to be a pain to paint if I do. I might need some blue tack, ladies and gents. Scooch over here, make sure my Discord's open for me to see. Okay. Let's see, how best to do this. It's not that big a deal if I have this arm and the other arm, but I think I'm gonna have to blue tack this in place first. So, here's the thing I got, and I don't know if you guys, my family who is currently watching actually saw any of my previous streams, but I've got blue tack. Got some blue tack. Some goopy goop stuff. And I got this. This is for what I use to paint. I push stuff down into it. And I'm here to show you that I got like $10 worth of blue tack. And look how much blue tack that gave me. This is too much blue tack. And I have to like fight my sister to make sure she doesn't touch this stuff, the little gremlin. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I bet you. Oh, there's that aerocycler. I keep calling them aerocyclers, but what they are, they're melt-a-bombs that I scaled down the STL of. And fun fact, they're not like little melt-a-bombs that go on miniatures. It was a melt-a-bomb that's like a foot tall that I then scaled down. So we gonna get a little bit of blue tack. Oh, this is royalty free. I went out of my way to find that. Don't worry, I know how the internet works, Dad. We're just gonna do a little bit of blue tack right here. We're just gonna kind of squanch it on. It's not gonna look good, but that's not why we're doing it. We're gonna push this in so that it's in the right place. We're gonna kind of just use the blue tack so that we can position this. Now, do I want to go ahead and use a posable arm? One of, this one's actually kind of assembled and in the right place. This actually fits, like, perfectly. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna glue this arm in. Just get the... Ooh, no. Oh, now it's stuck to my finger. Sometimes it's a little hard to do this with blue tack. This blue tack doesn't actually hold on that hard. But there, and I should just leave it there, and we'll pull the gun off later. And so when I paint it, the firearm is not in the way of the chest. So that way I have an easier way to paint it, but the arms will now, once that glue is cured, be in the correct position. And I can just glue the gun in. Might have to use some green stuff to fill the gaps, but that's what we got the green stuff for. Which... blue tack and green stuff are basically the same substance, except that the green stuff hardens into a plastic later. Okay. So we're gonna let that cure for a second. And yeah, this the posed arms work pretty well, actually. So. Oh, by the way, family, I don't know if you can see in the lower corner, I'm a little wizard hat now. Hello. I'm a little wizard hat, and I love being a little wizard hat. I had to Photoshop this. I took a stock photo and got the face on there. Do let me know if the music is too loud. Let's see. So what's the next step here? I do want to repair the aerocycler because it's kind of important. We will have to find a future attachment lay. I might have to look and see if there's a way I can merge the mesh and like cut and merge the meshes in the printer and see if I can do it there, but that might make it just as brittle. I'd consider pinning, but holy crap, this resin is tough to pin. I've got some tungsten bits coming in the mail, which should be here later today, actually. And hopefully that'll help solve this problem, but oh, dang, using these drill bits, do not want to get through that resin. I'm just sitting there cranking and cranking, and I can't get more than a millimeter in. And I need to get like 2 or 3 in to make sure that my wire actually anchors in there when I do the pinning. So we should be able to just kind of work this off. And there we go. See, now his arms are in the right place. The gun's not attached. We can put this back in our blue tack glop. So now he needs his shoulder pads. Because now I know where everything is, I can kind of get the rest of the stuff in there. So we can get ourselves a shoulder pad. Take ourselves a shoulder pad and make sure that we're doing this on the right side. So, yep. Whoop! What's that? That's hot lightning? Is that what that said? Sorry, my thing's real small for some reason. We're gonna move some stuff around here. There we are. That's much bigger. But thanks for the follow. Just gonna kind of slide back on over here. We're gonna get that on. It's just gonna slot on, and I've kind of gone with this nice, lovely little if any of you watching happen to know, it's the like interconnected triangles, the like sequentially interconnected triangles over and over again. I don't know if you can see that super well. It's kind of hard to see when they're not painted like this because it's all just gray. It's all the same color gray. Just scoot on back. Okay. Now, and then I have these embossed shoulder pads, which this one actually kind of needs a little cleaning because its nose is a little funky looking. But we have these embossed shoulder pads that I have for them. For the chapter symbol, which I filled with red with a metallic, like, I'm actually using a color that my sister gave me, zinc. This is Walmart paint, or Hobby Lobby paint, or wherever she got it. I don't know, I just got a bucket of the stuff next to me now. She donated it at high velocity. There we go, we just kind of slot those boards in there. Well, I'm just gonna, while this is doing this, I'm gonna take my boy here, and I'm gonna push him into the blue tack, like this. And this is one of the nice things about blue tack is I can do this, is now I have a grip here to handle this guy. And what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and reattach this arrow cycler. You won't be able to see because the base is in the way. Okay, and I'm gonna leave them like this and just let that cure and dry. Okay, we can leave them where you guys can kind of see them. Oh, Angie lighting. That's what it said. I didn't quite see it from where I was sitting. Hi, Angie. Thank you for the follow. Alright. So we're gonna let that guy cure while we're gonna start working on our other boy. Now this guy I have running. I kind of with the, and I used the word running in air quotes here, just because I went for a kind of more less. Oh, they want to talk on Discord. Okay. Tell you what, I can. Do you want me to just call you? I'll call you. See if this works.
Hello, hello. Can you hear us?
Yes. Speak again for me.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I'm just making sure you're coming through the stream as well.
Okay, I'm turning your stream volume down and just listening on Discord.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna want to do.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go ahead and turn the music off since I'm gonna have people I'm gonna be acting to now.
There you go. All right.
Hello, people.
Grandma's running up to get something to drink.
Whoop! I knocked that over. He's fine.
Yeah. Now, how many of these things are you going to make?
Okay, so for the current Themi Company battle list. 15. 25. 29.
Ooh.
So these the ones of these sides, there should be 32 of them at the end.
Uh-huh.
And then I have two very large models that I'm gonna make. 35 of them. I forgot to Judy. Then there's going to be a dog model, a pair of big mech models called dreadnoughts, a land speeder model, and 3 guys riding big monster things.
And how many do you have completed?
Technically 0.
Oh.
0 complete.
Yeah, I'm working on the first 5. I'm kind of these. I have these ones that are technically complete, but these were prototypes for painting and detailing what kind of techniques I want to use to actually get these done and what I want them to look like.
Barely seeing them.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Here,
Yeah, they're kind of cool, but I didn't get to see them all.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gee. Kind of intricate, aren't they?
Yeah. And actually, like, if you see all the belt pieces,
Yeah.
I both placed those there and painted those myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's one of the big things I'm going to be doing today is after I finish these 2, I'm going to be putting some decorative, like, grenades, belts, and, like, knife sheaths on them. And then I'm going to be taking this stuff. This is called green stuff. And I'm going to be trying to make, like, wolf pelt fur, like, decorations on them.
Oh, okay.
It's the first time I've done it, and so I'm going to try it by hand. I have a thing that lets me, like, make little sheets of textured wolf fur in the mail, but I had to order it from Green Stuff World's website, and they're, like, in Eastern Europe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's going to take a long time to get here.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So while that guy's curing, I'm actually going to move on to my next boy here.
Okay.
Okay, let me just get some clippers in there. There we go, came out. A little bit of open gappage in the back, but that should be fine. Just got to get that clear. Okay, and so we're just doing the same thing we did to this guy, to the last guy. Is we're getting this in place. We're gonna blue tack the gun into place to, see where we want it. Just make sure I have his 2 shoulder pads nearby, and his helmet's right here, and his gun is here. Okay, so we're gonna.
Amazing how you can work with those little tiny pieces.
Just kind of get the arm off there. Set that over there in the little pile. We're just going to make sure we scrape this clean because it needs to be nice and flat so that it fits nice and flush. And just like the other guy, we're going to kind of want him aiming down his sights. Just because, that's kind of a standard pose. And I want...
How easy? Before you get it.
2. Yeah. There's 3, right?
Hey, I think your viewer count is borked up because we know we got at least 3 people watching yet.
Yeah?
We've got your mom's account is logged in, mine is, and Dan's got one now.
Not gonna lie, I have no idea how to manipulate that.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
Yeah, and I just wonder if that's a Twitch thing.
Possibly. It's not on OBS. I don't actually have my viewer count on OBS. Okay, that should be the right place. He needs an aerocycler repair as well. Let's get ourselves a... Whoop. Made the mistake of setting my blue tack on the pile of bits, and now there are bits in my blue tack. So, gonna just twist off a little piece here. Roll it to little patty. Gonna make sure we.
Yeah, so the Twitch stream volume, that's what they on the outposts.
Oh.
Okay, just get that in there. Right. Make sure that's open. Okay. So now we've got that here. And we're probably going to do the same thing. This arm probably will work. This is literally the arm I cut the hand off of. It could work, to be fair, but I do kind of feel like the posable arms work a little bit better. Kind of tilt it in, give it a nice press. Now let's see. Oh, this one's actually not finished being glued in, but let's see if it fits. I'm kind of I have a bunch of ones that didn't quite make the cut on previous attempts that I'm trying to use up currently. So I'll show you how these arms work in just a second. Once I get this guy's arm on, I'll show you how they work.
So is your little hat supposed to be animating with your voice or anything like that?
Is it not?
It kind of is occasionally making.
Well, the face should change. That's all.
Yeah, the face is kind of changing a little bit, but it's not really timed with your voice. That's
just Discord lag.
Okay.
It's just the little thing that changes as I talk. It's just my little PNG tube.
Yeah.
What
What do they call those ones where they have the avatars that are like fully animated? With
they're called VTubers.
Yeah, the VTube. Have you looked into one of those VTube thingies?
Yep. This is actually the first step of it. Is I'm doing a PNG tuber right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've actually kind of been browsing for commissions and stuff, deciding exactly how I want to do it.
Don't they have like some free versions?
I
I remember setting up like the Fox one and playing with it.
Yeah, there's like free versions and like trial models, but you know, this is Twitch. I am kind of trying to build an identity here.
That's true. You don't want to be constantly changing it, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's okay to constantly change it, but you know, my concept is I want to be a wizard hat. You have invoked Rakalor the Arcane. And now I'm a hat that talks to you.
There you go.
Basically, the Sorting Hat's deadbeat uncle. Okay.
So that blue stuff, does it harden up to the same hardness as that plastic?
Nope. That's what makes it blue tack, or fun tack, as it's also called.
So it's intended to be temporary?
Yeah, that's exactly why I have it. It's temporary, because I can allow me to take stuff out here. And I'm just going to and I'm just kind of repeating the process steps here. Y'all actually kind of missed some of the interesting bits of assembling the other three. These two that I'm putting together have been an adventure because I have consistently forgotten to make parts for them. Like, I had no left hands, I had no, like, things were all wrong, and then I needed to reprint shoulder pads.
You need, like, a checklist or something.
Yeah. Well, I thought I had the parts, and then it turned out some of the parts I had didn't work on them. I'll show you how the posable arms work as soon as I've actually got to twist this one off and glue it on. You won't be able to see because it's very, very small when you're not looking at it. Okay.
Is Katie working today?
Yeah. She just left with the truck. Which does remind you, I need to buy some stuff for the truck. It's suffering some problems after the oil change, and I pretty much diagnosed exactly what it is. Not now, I'm streaming. People don't need to hear about my truck. They want to hear about my
automotive issues when you're building models.
Yeah, they want to hear about my chapter of crazy space Vikings who hunt ancient spaceships like whales.
Oh, your stream just froze.
Oh.
There you are. Had a momentary hiccup. Your stream froze for a second or two. You dropping frames?
Not according to OBS.
Okay, might have been our end.
Yeah. Just get that in there. Ooh, this one does not want to attach. You're gonna need some more. Can actually have to build it up as support in there. Just reattaching the arrow cycler right now. It's very small. This bit is so small. And I'm trying not to glue it to my own fingers, but it is very difficult.
I've never glued anything to my own fingers.
Yeah, I don't know how many things you tried gluing that were only a couple millimeters across. Alright, we're gonna have to... Uh-oh. Did I just lose it? I may have just lost it. Yeah, I think I just lost it. Oh, well. This is the beauty of having a billion of them. Here's my sprue of these suckers. Here they are. Got a bunch of them right here. We're just gonna get a new one. They pop right out, nice and easy. Oh, no, I didn't lose it. It's actually still stuck to the thing. Fascinating.
So do those come off of the thing really well, or do they leave little nubs like the like plastic models?
It can vary from print to print, and from component to component.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna let that cure. That's gonna need some extra time to cure, so we can go back to our marksman boy here. Oh, I actually said I would show you how these arms work. Let's see, here's one piece. Sure, I've got another one around here. Here we go. Okay. So here's how these work. Each one is a shoulder that has this, can you see the, like, pin, the nub? The circular, like, almost like a male, plug.
Yeah.
And then here's this one that has a socket. And what it is that the attachment point to the torso is at a different angle for the different parts, and the angle between of the elbow is different. And so what I can do is I can slot two different angles together and even rotate them relative to each other in order to pose the arm to be what I want. Instead of, say, having to take this solid arm and cut it at the elbow or cut it at the shoulder and retwist to, like, repose it that way. And it's a really nice system. The only problem I've run into it with it so far is that it doesn't, you'll see how this this elbow is bent at like a 90 degree right here. It does not get that deep, so I had to print these arms off for the guns. I keep picking this gun up to glue it to this model, but I'm not supposed to do that right now. In fact, I'm going to re-blue tack it. Because I need to make sure that the head lines up with the line of sight of the gun.
And you're not putting the gun on now because it's going to be easier to paint?
Yes. Precisely. Just kind of get that on there, just like that. It's just got to be for a second. And then we can socket it in here. It's blue tack hanging from my arm. Kind of want to lean him forward, so I think I know where I want this. Kind of want to lean his head down so that he's looking down. Even though it is a little weird that he's like looking down the sight with like his weird mecha mechanical eye thing. Almost like the scope's attached to his head instead of the gun. Alright, that should do the trick. Can take this off. Okay. So aside from decorative bits, this guy should be done until I paint him. And actually, like, I have them on bases right now. They're not staying on these bases. I haven't practiced any yet, but I'm going to try and make some bases that I can paint up to look like Starship deck plating. Like they're inside of Starship.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm going to use some junk and plastic card to do that. And I actually have a whole bunch of wire and other things that I can use for that. So this guy should be done. We're going to go ahead and put him over here. He's got a slot right on out. Okay, the aero cyclers are in place. I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to get a little bit of blue tack. I'm going to put his gun back. And when you're working this early, one of the things you want to make sure you're doing is, like, see how I'm supporting the elbow with my thumb when I push the blue tack on? The super glue is actually pretty brittle still at this point. So you want to be nice to it and kind of make sure that when you push on it, you're not giving it, like, too much pressure in a weird angle, or else it'll snap off. I'm being gung-ho with the glue instead of dry fitting it, but we will survive. Actually not going to lean his head down to the side, because he's kind of like shooting on the move is the idea behind this guy. He's got, you know, and see how he's like stepping forward to this guy's standing still, or holding position rather. That should do the trick. Okay, so with those cured and those here, let me make sure and go through, make sure. That guy. So that's my pack of 5 that are actually done being assembled in their basics for painting. Just gonna set my blue tack over there. So now I gotta decide what I want to do next. So I have 2 things I need to do. I need to add belt gear, like grenades, holstered weapons, etc., to them. Oh, you know what? Ralof still doesn't have his bolter on him. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put that. Where's my chain at? There's my chain at. Alright, so one thing I was thinking about doing. Where is Ralof's bolter? This plate. There it is. So all of them have these are called auto bolters that these guys are carrying. All of them have them. He's got an extra weapon in the axe. But I do need to figure out where I am going to put this auto bolter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sling this auto bolter somewhere, and I'm going to use this chain to be like it's got a mounting chain, like a chain sling, basically. And then I could paint that chain sling up. Oh yeah, I also need to decide if I'm actually going to use the cable that I printed. Kind of get it in there, peel that off. There are bits on that, so I'm going to make sure that gets it over there. But trash. Okay. This needs some cleaning, but I will clean it up in a second. Where is that cable? There it is. Here we are. So, the axe he has this socket right here at near the head, so that I can do something like attach a cable to it, which would need some modification to actually work, but is totally a viable option that I could like hook it up so that it slides up through under his backpack here. I'd probably need to shorten and reshape the end here. But I could do that. Or actually, it'd probably be easier if I did it this way. Oh no, you still there, Dad? You still there, Left Net? Uh-oh. Did my headset go out? No, my headset's on. Let me double check. Y'all went real quiet on me. So, music's still coming through. Huh, weird. I can't hear you guys anymore. Ah, okay. So Angie, since you're Angie, you're the one here. What do you think?
No.
Huh?
Oh, you are?
Do you think, because I can hear you, Angie. You're the one here. What do you think?
I like them. They're so delicate looking.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think with the cable attached to the axe or no cable?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. Like, just thinking about it. This actually fits pretty well without modification.
I like that. Don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Kind
Or
of.
livens it up a bit.
Yeah. I think we'll do that. So I'm just gonna. The very.
So how do you get it on there?
So it's gonna have 2 contact points. I'm gonna give it one right here. At the point here, and then I actually am gonna have to put the glue on this thing.
Oh.
At this point, and then I'm gonna have to slot it in so that it sits, and we're gonna have to hold it for a few seconds.
Oh yeah.
Just let it sit there, let it do its thing. It's not attaching at the base.
Oh, it's not? Why not?
It's just not wanting to.
Oh.
Yeah, don't worry. I pulled it free on purpose.
Oh. Go ahead.
You can use no.
Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna have to get a little more ham-handed with this. Just kind of get it up under the edge of the backpack there. We're actually gonna angle this down a little bit. Here we go. There we go, right in there. I had meant to shave this skull on the plate off because it technically has a meaning in the game, but I don't think I'm gonna. It looks fine. We're just gonna leave. I'm actually gonna set it on its side here and just. Oh man, I gotta stop fiddling with it. I gotta let it sit. Okay. Take our hands off it. We keep fiddling with it. It won't be attached when it dries. Okay, and so he'll have that cable. I'll have to decide what color to paint that cable. Okay. So the other thing is, I guess I'll have to do that when he's done here. So. Interesting. So I have this guy right here. And I've been looking, I've been kind of looking at my guys trying to figure out places to put fur on their, like, put, like, fur decoration, like hides and pelts on them. Do you think a fur collar behind this guy's helmet would be too much?
What are you going to use to do that?
The green stuff. I'm going to sculpt it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got tools and everything. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I got it, is that I want to do this wolf fur. And the texture plate's not really going to do a good collar, because it gives me, like, flat out, you know, flat, like almost sheet-like pieces of the texture.
Right.
Whereas this would sit kind of between the back of his helmet and his backpack.
Uh-huh. Let me see the guy you're talking about again.
This guy right here.
We kind of got him behind the hat. There you go. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's room for some, but
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how big you make it.
Yeah, but like right there behind his head, I think it would kind of match his kind of. See how he's kind of got the forward hunched pose, how he's kind of leaned forward with the knife.
Right.
I think it would match with that pretty well. He also is going to want some like bits hanging off his weapons, I think. He strikes me as someone who likes to collect like trophies just because you know, these guys are all using guns. He's like down and moving forward in that kind of aggressive pose. So let's see how we can get that done. I do know that I have... Aha! How about one of these? This is going to take some clipping. But I have printed out these wolf tail trophies. And I think one of these would go fine for him. Let's get that through there. Oh, careful, careful. One of the tricks to doing this is sometimes you got to cut through the supports. And the supports are actually pretty sturdy, especially since the warmer weather here means that I kind of need to make my supports heavier. You know, just gonna tilt this way because this is where my hand is naturally sitting. The warmer weather means that I kind of make them sturdier because it's a little bit goopy. But you got to make sure that your clipper's not like on the component that you actually want, or else you will wreck the component with the clippers, because these suckers are... These guys show no mercy once you give them the squeeze. Just kind of clean off any nubs. So I was maybe thinking, like, from his knife, I don't know, maybe that's a bit much. Maybe from the underside of his gun? Or from the handle of his gun? Do kind of like the knife idea. And it draws more attention to the knife, which for him, I kind of want to make the knife a prominent feature. It's rather large. It's almost as large as the knife itself, though. Think off the gun here. Off the sling ring of the gun here. Yeah, I think that's where it would look best. Just get that on there. Just, come on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You should be able to just let that sit now. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks about right. Yeah. That's good stuff. That looked great when I painted up. Let's see. That's going to need more time to dry, but we can kind of handle him now. Now, let's see. For him, I got to figure out I guess the easiest thing to do would be to, like, glue the bolter here and then wrap a chain over his shoulder like it's hanging from the bolt, like it's hanging from his shoulder. Interesting. Oh, while we're working with this part, we can start cleaning it, because the bolters tend to end up with a lot of these little flashings and nubs on them. Well, you gotta be careful, because they actually have little rivet details that you totally wouldn't expect to survive this printing process, because they're bloody tiny, but they do. So you gotta be careful when you're taking the support nubs off, that you're not also shaving off the rivet details. Just get going. Yeah. Music back on. A little louder. I could also go across the back. No, I think the hip works the best. Think like here. Angled downward.
Seems like he's got a lot of weapons if he's got the stuff that's in his hands and then a...
Well, one of this isn't a weapon, it's a trophy. It's a head.
Yeah, I see that.
But he's got the axe, and he's gonna have this bolter. And yeah, they do tend to carry a lot of weapons. They are Space Marines. But he's the pack leader. This is Ralof. And he's got the big ol' axe. Most of these guys have much smaller knives. I actually was kind of hoping, and I'm hoping maybe one day I can find or model a print of it. But if you've ever seen a sea axe, like the Nordic knife, the sea axe, I would love to actually give them sea axes. Because they're actually really cool looking. And they're, you know, thematic. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and put this on his hip. And let it rest naturally. Yeah, so his gun will be there, and then I'll loop some chain over his shoulder pad, like over the inside between his helmet and here. Or maybe even not necessarily loop it over. I might just attach it to points to imply that it's gone like under the panel. We'll have to see the exact logistics of that once that's more dry. We got this boy. He seems like he could use a wolf tail. Let's get him a wolf tail. Right on the underside of this sword. Get this man a fluffy tail. Let's see. Actually kind of want to swing it out to the side here. I'm actually going to cut away most of the ring here, so I'm going to need a good contact point for it. Get some glue on the top there. I'm just going to... I don't know, we actually want to swing it out this way. Yeah, there we go. That kind of follows the motion of him, like, lifting it, so it's kind of like flopped out to the side a bit. That follows the motion. Let's see. Gotta get this chain stuff open. Come here. Alright, let's see. I shouldn't need too much.
What is that chain?
It's chain!
Where'd you get it from?
Walmart.
Okay.
Here's some silver chain from Walmart. It's like $10 for the whole spool.
It's like something they would make necklaces out of.
Yeah. Obviously, on this, it's gonna appear much larger because it's on a scale model. But I also have like this bundle of copper wire that I got from Walmart. Let me just. So the choice right now is whether or not I just drape the chain over and have it going over the top of the shoulder pad, or I cut 2 segments of chain and have them connecting to like points under the shoulder pad and see if that, like the chain has rested not on top of the, big bulky shoulder pad, but under it, and he's kind of lifting his arm and it's getting covered. Problem is, how do I actually create that effect? Because he's kind of got it, like, it's kind of closed up because he's holding his hand out, so his shoulder's kind of closed up. So let's see, can we get it to slot? It's kind of tight squeeze right here. But it does slot in there. It was right here. So I don't feel like that looks quite right. Maybe we try something else. Maybe we try like that. Should I go across the chest, maybe? That's a good question. I could also use wire instead for a narrower thing.
That chain does seem a little bulky.
It was supposed to be bulky, it's just not quite working with the way his arms are posed. Because on these other guys, it can rest pretty easily, like right here. It rests pretty easily between the shoulder pad and the helm. once I've kind of squeezed it into the gap there. But his arm position isn't allowing that to happen. So it's not resting between the shoulder pad and the helm. So I think we're going to have to go with the 2 shorter segments. We're just going to have to figure out the best way to actually get that effect. So it looks like we're going to have to glue it here, and then the other one will go back up under here. Right? Well, no, actually it'll just be a short length. Like right here. Okay, I might have to repose the gun. Might have to turn the gun the other way. Well, no, maybe not. We can have it come from here. Okay, yeah, I think we can do this. So we want it to be there, so oop. So we'll start with this. Just gonna kind of want to just come on, get in there. Come on. Woo. Stay. Okay, give that a chance to dry, and that should hold that segment in place. Where are my red clippers at? Because I don't want to use my flush cuts on these. Oh, they're over here. I'm probably not gonna need more than this, so that pop right through that. I'm gonna take this much of it. We're just gonna clip this because it's definitely more than we need, but it's smaller, so it'll be easier to handle while this component dries. And kind of lean it forward here, and that should go right up in here. I'm gonna get my, where's my forceps? My forceps. I'm gonna get my forceps to help maneuver this. This is pretty delicate work. Nope, that didn't stick. The problem is that super glue like adheres immediately to your finger. And so if I stick my finger in there, the dang chain sticks to me more than it does the resin. So if I pull my finger back out, the chain comes with it. Come on, just a little higher. Stay there. I'm just gonna get some more glue in there on that. Alright, now I need to let this boy dry. Just kind of scoot him over, let him do that. I'm sure there's a better way to do it. Stand up, stretch. So I do not have a BRB screen yet, but I am going to go step away for a drink while this boy dries. And I shall return in just a moment. Okay. I'm back. Just kind of pouring me some soda. Having me a seat. Okay. Okay. Now we want to kind of be delicate here, but I'm gonna get some glue down here on the sling ring. Take it, we're just gonna hold it against the sling ring just like this for a few minutes, for a few seconds really. And while it's still short, nope, that came loose. Come on now. Now try that again. Eventually what happens is the glue like gets all pulled off by the handling. It's just something you gotta learn to work around. Come on. I think we just let it dry this time. I think we just... Come on, stay in place. I think we just let that dry. I was trying to clip it early, but I think we just let that dry first. This is like new territory for me, is getting this done. So where do I want to... I think I want to attach it on the inside here. So I actually can clip this one first. Right about here. like that. Oh, and I should be able to just shove that up in there. Up in there. Use my scalpel, kinda. My X-Acto knife just to kind of get it up in there. Just like that. Oh, and of course I immediately pulled that one loose while handling it. Here. Just gonna put a glove on that. No, that's not gonna work. I need to actually pull that tight. Which actually means I need to clip off just a tad more of this. Just these two. Oh yes, just like that, just like that. You stay right where you are. There you go, this is actually coming together pretty well. You can see how it's kind of looking like it's gonna pull taut. And then what you do in order to complete this is you actually run super glue, just a little small amount, all the way down the chain. There you go. Oh no! As soon as I did that, I knocked it loose. And just like before, it does not want to release me. Ah, man. So close. This is the first time doing this, so mistakes are expected. I just keep getting stuck to it, because the super glue adheres to me so much better than it does anything else I'm working with. And I may end up... And there went the chain. And there went the gun. I must have knocked it loose, so we're just gonna have to try that again. Get in about the right place.
When are you gonna be working on some big monster vehicles?
I have yet to decide when I'm going to work on one of my Redemptor Dreadnoughts or the Land Speeder.
Yeah, that happens. You know, I use CA glue for the finish on the pens, and so I'm used to gluing my fingers to all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna let that one dry. I gotta relet that itself. But yeah, I plan on doing 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts. Gonna be nope. Images. That'll be... Oh, where's my sources? There it is. That'll be one of these here. Which, is there one of it next to a Space Marine so I can... There you go. Not super huge, but zoom in there. And these guys next to this thing, those are the Space Marines that I'm building currently. And so that's how big he is.
So Yeah, those are the ones you're building now, and then that's the big.
Yeah, this is a Redemptor Dreadnought. Yeah.
Uh,
I actually have an STL for one. I'll end up trying it out. We'll have to see how this works, because it's going to be kind of difficult, and it's going to take a bunch of prints to get them out.
uh-huh.
They are not small vehicles. And the land speeder is a similar size.
So what's like the biggest thing your printer can print? Like, what are the dimensions?
Oh man, I do not remember the dimensions offhand. It's not particularly big, but because I am printing in components rather than the full model, you know, it's printing broken down into parts.
I'm just saying, what's the biggest component? Is it like 2 inches by 2 inches by 2 inches, or
it's
on
like,
that order?
It's like 4 by 3 by 6. 4 by 3 by 5. It can get pretty tall. That's one of the things it can do.
Size.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good size. But, like, the Redemptor that I just showed you, like, doesn't fit in that space.
Right.
And that's not accounting for the fact that he might have his limbs, like, splayed out. Alright. Let's give this a round 2, shall we? Ooh, this does not want to stay attached. What's going on here? Why are you not adhering anymore? You know, except to me, of course. Might have to redo the pose a little bit. That looks about right. We're just gonna not touch that anymore and just let that cure in place, and hopefully it'll go well. Okay, so his auto bolter's now on. He's got a wolf tail. He's got a wolf tail. Part of me is just putting off the green stuff practice because I've literally never done it before. To be fair, I've never done the chain work before either, so that was brand new right there. Let's see. What do we want to put on next? I think I'm going to hang on. I don't think I'm going to add more wolf tails to this. Well, I don't know. What about his axe? Nah, he doesn't need one on his axe. Let's see. Plenty of grenades and stuff, but I kind of think my hand has been forced here. I'm just gonna set that guy back there. I think it's time for green stuff practice, because I don't want to start gluing bits to their waists and stuff until I'm sure where I'm gonna put the fur on them. The weapons and stuff kind of dictate a lot of the other factors. Like, those are supposed to be prominent display pieces, so I want to make sure that those are visible. And that those will kind of kind of take precedence. But the other bits now, I think I've gotta go ahead and break into green stuff practice. All right, I'm gonna step away for 1 second. Just get some water. So the largest tips I have received while working for green stuff is keep stuff wet or it will stick to everything. Oh god, oh god. Now I actually have a video here by Basilisk Wargaming that I plan to look through. That's supposed to, I've seen it a couple times, but I'm kind of watching this as a way to kind of guide myself.
So you're just listening to him?
No, I'm gonna watch it, and I'm actually I'm gonna share. You guys can watch too. So, we'll do full screen here.
What's up, Wargamers? Luke from Basilisk
So,
Wargaming here.
that's
Thanks for
very
tuning in
loud.
to another video. Today we're going to be making some fur, pelts, and capes. For
So this is one of the videos that I found for it.
or green stuff or whatever modeling pattern you want to use, and just 3 basic tools. We've got tons to cover, so let's get cracking.
So-
roll that intro.
And this is kind of the idea of fur collar I was thinking about. Let me get my tools out.
If you can't hear me.
Okay, so the kit you're going to need for this is a
Who can I not hear?
Me, Mama,
Oh, hi, Mama.
baby.
Hello.
How come we're not at work?
Huh? I don't work. I only work 2 days this week.
Oh, okay.
Some stuff with Ashira and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'm streaming. So technically, I'm sort of working.
I know.
But I'm learning to sculpt fur.
fix.
Yeah, I heard you. I
Blade
watched
of some
that.
sort.
I seen some of that.
Some
Mhm.
milliput or green stuff. A model, of course. Some water.
This actually is probably the better tool for this.
And a whole bunch of really expensive sculpting tools. No, not really, guys. You don't need those. Don't go out and buy them. Okay, so in this video, I'm using green stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is roughly estimate how much I'll need and just make sure it's really well mixed. So I'm sculpting onto this assault intercessor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look at the model and just understand his pose and what he's doing and roughly the direction that fur is going to go. So I'm probably going to lay it in just behind his backpack here and just trail it underneath this vent. Obviously he's running forward with his right hand drawn
Sure,
back.
you're-
And I don't think
I
there'll
wanna
be
make
much on
older
this
video.
left hand shoulder guard.
Is an
So
older
when you're
video
working
you're
with green
showing
stuff, you
us?
just need to make sure that you're
This is not my video. No.
Oh, okay.
This is the tutorial. I'm showing a tutorial that I will be trying to follow because I'm sculpting green stuff for the first time.
Oh, okay.
So y'all are kind of here with me experimenting. If you were here earlier, you saw me struggle gluing chain to myself for doing chain work for the first time.
What tweezers are for?
Yeah, I tried. It just
using our damp or
feels like the super glue adheres to everything but the things I want it to adhere to first.
all the
Yes.
surfaces and make sure it only sticks to the model or where you want it to stick. So I'm just going to lay out a small piece. I'm just going to roll it out just into a small sausage shape. And this is just going to start to get the basic area of where we want that fur to be. So I'm just going to
You
lay
want
it on
pop
the
back
model
in
roughly
later.
where I want it to
Okay.
be, so round about there. And I'm going to start to just press that into position just using my toothpick just to secure it against the model.
Okay.
So at this stage in the process, I'm not worrying too much about texture or any of that fine detail. I'm really just
So I'm going to pause the video and step away for a moment. Well, not step away. I'm going to roll back over here, and I am going to grab a scrap model. I'm going to grab my scrap model right here. This boy is made from, like, leftovers and kind of, like, bad prints. And I'm kind of be doing the same thing he's trying to do. So, and I got my tools here. And so I do kind of want to figure out how to make a fur collar right in here that's kind of around the back of the neck. on this kind of raised section. So he has us rolling a sausage out. And I don't think I'm gonna trail this down. I think I'm just gonna go across here and just set it there. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the video. Let's do the full capture.
In the form of the piece of fur that I want. So in my head, I've kind of got an image of where I want to go, and I'm just trying to move that green.
So just kind of get it into place
right
first.
so that it's got the right volume that I need. So you can see here that I've decided that it needs some more volume on the back piece, just underneath where the vent is. So I'm going to roll out another small sausage, and I'm just going to lay that onto there. And again, press that with a toothpick just to fix it to the model. So like I said, don't worry about texture, don't worry about form, just make sure that you've got that shape, that kind of volume that you want, and then we can start to work on the detail.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, when you're working with green stuff, just keep wetting the tool that you're using. It'll stop the green stuff sticking to the toothpick, especially because it's wood. You can use a little pot of water or a wet sponge or whatever.
I've got a thing of water from it.
First stage of starting to put some detail onto the model as far as the fur is concerned. So I'm going to use this sharp metal tool, and I'm just kind of going to get an idea of where I want the fur to come from. So this is going to be my center line. Half of it's going to grow this way, and half it's going to grow the other way. Very similar to the hair on your head. So
Okay.
I'm just going to start to use the tool and just press in some small little flat triangles, using the tool at quite a flat angle. And I'm basically going to work from the bottom of the fur, so the opposite end of the grain. I'm going to work back towards what I would sort of imagine the hairline to be, which is just underneath this vent here. So you can see I'm not scratching it, I'm not, I'm just literally pressing in. It's not digging into the green stuff, I'm just pressing flat, so you're making that small pointed triangular shape. I'm then going to come back in with the toothpick, and I'm just going to basically push the green stuff out of this area around his gorget, around his collar armor, because I don't want it to impede his head movement. I want to make sure I've got enough room for his head and his helmet in there. And again, from the other end, I'm going to do the same process. So I'm starting from the opposite end of the grain, and I'm just slowly working back up towards that, let's call it a hairline for the sake of this example. So now we've got our base texture. We're just coming in and just filling in a few areas that are still smooth. It's going to be quite orderly where you've come in with that metal tool. So now we're going to bring the toothpick in, which has a wider surface area. And the objective here is to break up the fur. So obviously fur is ordered, there is an order to it, it does have a grain, but
So where do I want...
metal armor, which is going to be completely uniform. So you're coming in and you're basically breaking up that pattern that you've created with the metal tool. It can be a bit random, but obviously you need to keep with the grain, so make sure that your tool is facing in the direction that you want the fur to flow in, and obviously continuously wet that tool, otherwise the green stuff is going to stick there. You can see that I was just pressing the green stuff back up out of the helmet area away from his collar, just to kind of keep it under control, because obviously as you're applying pressure here with the toothpick, sometimes it can move to some areas you don't want it to be. So again, I'm just working to that hairline, that imaginary line we've created, and just making sure that the flow is in the same direction. I'm comparing it to another model here because I want to make sure the unit looks like they've got furs from similar animals, but obviously they're not going to be exactly the same furs. So what I've done now is I've created a good texture and a good base, but I want to build some more volume. There's a couple of areas which I think look a bit sparse, so I'm just coming in with another piece of green stuff, and I'm just basically layering that over what we've already done.
I'm gonna pause it here for a second. Go point back at my model. So he has us getting the direction of the fur. So I think I'm gonna try and kind of like a collar that's attached this way, and try to maybe do the grain up and out this way, like the hair is pointing that way. Or should I do like to a side? I'm actually thinking to a side. So like, I don't know, on this one I guess it would be hairs growing in this direction. Back to the...
And now I'm going to start the process again with the metal tool and just bond that into our
I really should name those two options different things so I don't keep doing that.
So again, same process as we did before, we're just doing those little rows of those nips with the tool. So we're just keeping it nice and flat and just basically doing some, not orderly rows, but relatively sort of randomized rows to get that base texture. So coming back in with the toothpick now, we're going to break up those base textures we've created with the metal tool, and just to make it look a little less orderly. Something I like to do is just keep looking around the model, make sure you're spinning the model around looking at it to understand where you need to add some extra areas. Sometimes you get a bit bogged down and you sculpt one area for a whole bunch of time and then you look back and think, actually, you know, this doesn't really now match to the rest of the model. Okay, so it's secret weapon time. We're now going to make this fur really pop, like I have here on this previous model. So the edge of the fur we've broken up with these small, what I call fingers, you can also call them wisps, is where the edge of the fur is basically not forming a straight line. You can see here I've got a straight line on this shoulder pad, which doesn't look very fur-like. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in with the toothpick and we're going to apply pressure onto the green stuff to push down to raw plastic, and we're going to make this sort of forward backwards soaring motion, and that's pretty much going to clear the green stuff from that area and leave us with these little fingers or these little wisps of fur. Now this is where you can really start to have fun with it. You see a little piece of green stuff has come off there, so I've just pulled him away. Make sure you keep the tool wet. You can now start to really make some motion. So for example, you can see this finger here, I'm going to curl that round as if the wind's sort of blowing it round on his shoulder pad. And this is the technique that really starts to take your fur from, you know, 80%, yeah, it kind of looks like fur, to bam, that's definitely fur.
So place, pattern, and then break up the silhouette.
Push in those edges, you're going to use that soaring technique, as you can see here. And you're just going to create these little wisps on the edge. It works really great on shoulder guards, on elbows, and also later on you'll see that I do it on the top of the pack. I think the main thing to remember is that fur is quite organic and it has quite a nice flow to it. So try not to get too hung up about making everything the same. Stuff's going to look real different, you know. Normal fur is very different textures all over. So I'm coming in and just putting all these wisps in, and I'm just making sure that some are going left, some are straight, some are curling round on themselves, just to give them a nice texture. Okay, so I'm happy where this model is going, but I've decided that actually I want some more fur to be pushing up onto the back of that generator pack. So again, I've rolled out a little fat sausage, and I'm just going to place that into where I roughly want it to connect to the fur. I'm going to use my metal tool to press this in now to just connect it to the rest of the green stuff that we've already worked on. Just a note here, make sure that you're being careful where you're putting your fingers, because the number of times I've sculpted a cape and thought, yeah, that's awesome, I'm loving that, and the next thing you know...
Is that the green stuff?
Yeah, that's green stuff.
You're going to try to make the fuzzy out of?
So I'm following the grain here. I've basically...
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
To our imaginary hairline that we created.
I'm just kind of watching through this tutorial here.
Does that green stuff harden up like the plastic?
Yes, that's what makes it not the blue stuff.
Do you have to, like, heat it or...
You mix it.
Okay, so it just mixes like an epoxy and...
Yeah, it is an epoxy. It's an epoxy putty.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's a two-part epoxy plastic putty.
Extra gooey.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm paying particular attention to where the new green stuff has met the old green stuff, and I'm just making sure that I'm using my...
Okay, so he's just doing more of that. Okay.
Together, so those pieces are now...
So we're gonna go ahead and stop that one. We're gonna try this out, huh? So the way green stuff works is it's a yellow and blue two-part epoxy.
Okay.
And you mix it and it becomes green. That's why it's called green stuff. Oh, let's taste it. So. Okay. Like this. Now, I have a bottle of water here, and I'm just going to pour it into a nearby little dish for me to use. And just, he has us wiping a little bit there. Gotta clear this of junk. Paint's all dry on here, so it ain't going nowhere. Well, one of the downsides of having a pink mat that Jack gave me is that it is hard to see, like, stuff against it. So here I'm just gonna start with a tiny little bit. And now another tip I've always got is get rid of this centerpiece right here, because they're already contacting. So if you get rid of this, yeah. Wet that when I used it, so Put these together and twist is the thing I've been told. As you twist, like roll it, twist, roll it. You can see it's already starting to turn green now. Roll it. Look at that. Turn nice green. Roll it. Now they have me rolling this out into a sausage. Little sausage shape. It's probably more than I need, but still we getting there. We trying, we learning. Thing here. See, we probably only need like that much, because we're just doing a little bit back here. So I roll this up so it's nearby, because this is still technically good for something currently. Then we just get that in there and push that down and get some water on here. I want to push that down into where it is. Just push it back up against this. It goes down like in that. It's about maybe smoothing that over. Okay, there you go, there you go. That'll make a lot of this more visible. Has us taking a sharp tool, so I'm actually going to use my X-Acto knife for this stage. See how that works. I'm going to wet this. And he has us just kind of tapping it in. Yeah, I can kind of see that. All right, this makes sense. Okay. Then he has us going with the toothpick, which I'm actually going to... What's a good round component? Maybe a bit thick. But I actually think I can improvise here. It's not wood, but you use one of these screwdriver sets. Just kind of... Gonna have to re-look at this again. So when he does the toothpick,
For his head and his helmet in there, and again, from the, got our base texture, starting to put some detail onto the model as far as the fur is concerned. So I'm going to use this sharp metal tool, and I'm just kind of going to get an idea of where I want the fur to come from. So this is going to be my center line.
okay.
Half it's going to grow this way, and half it's going to grow the other way. Very similar to the hair on your head. So I'm just going to start to use the tool and just press in some small little flat triangles, using the tool at quite a flat angle, and I'm basically going to work from the bottom of the fur, so the opposite end of the grain. I'm going to work back towards what I would sort of imagine the hairline to be.
We'll put the hairline right here.
So you can see I'm not scratching it, I'm not literally pressing in, it's not digging into the green stuff, I'm just pressing flat, so you're making that small pointed triangular shape. I'm then going to come back in with the toothpick, and I'm just going to basically push the green stuff out of this area around his gorget, around his collar armor, because I don't want it to impede his head movement. I want to make sure I've got enough room for his head and his helmet in there. And again, from the other end, I'm going to do the same process. So I'm starting.
Oh, holy shit!
The grain, and I'm just slowly working back up towards that. Let's call it a hairline for the sake of this.
Yo.
Our base texture, we're just coming in and just filling in a few areas that are still smooth. It's going to be quite orderly where you've come in with that metal tool. So now we're going to bring the toothpick in, which has a wider surface area. And the objective here is to break up the fur. So obviously fur is ordered, there is an order to it, it does have a grain, but it's not like something like chainmail or metal armor, which is going to be completely uniform. So you're coming in and you're basically breaking up that pattern that you've created with the metal tool. It can be a bit random, but obviously you need to keep with the grain, so make sure that your tool is facing in the direction that you
Yo.
want it to flow in. And
I think this worked.
Otherwise the green stuff is going to stick there. You can see that I was just pressing the green stuff back up out of the helmet area away from his collar, just to kind of keep it under control, because obviously as you're applying pressure here with the toothpick, sometimes it can move to some areas you don't want it to be. So again, I'm just working to that hairline, you know, that imaginary line we've created.
I won't lie though, that this feels a little shallow.
Flow is in the same direction.
So we're gonna
I'm comparing it to another model here because I want to make sure the unit looks like they've got furs from similar animals, but obviously they're not.
try and bulk up the center here, because it's kind of
So what I've done now is I've created a good texture and a good base, but I want to
kind of low behind his head.
areas which I think look a bit sparse. So I'm just coming in.
So I probably needed to add some more there.
And I'm just basically layering that over what we've already done, and now I'm going to start the process again with the metal tool and just bond that into our imaginary hairline.
Kind of get that right up
Same process as we did before. We're just doing those little rows of those nips with the tool,
like that.
nice and flat, and just basically doing some not orderly rows, but relatively sort of randomized rows to get that base texture.
So basically, you're giving this guy a mink stole.
Sort of, yeah.
So coming back in with the toothpick now, we're going to break up those base textures we've created with the metal tool, and just to make it look a little less orderly. Something I like to do is just keep looking around the model, make sure you're spinning the model around, looking at it, to understand where you need to add some extra areas. Sometimes you get a bit bogged down and you sculpt one area for a whole bunch of time, and then you look back and think, actually, you know, this doesn't really now match to the rest of the model. Okay, so it's secret weapon time. We're now going to make this fur really pop, like I have here on this previous model. So the edge of the fur we've broken up with these small, what I call fingers, you can also call them wisps. It's where the edge of the fur is basically not forming a straight line. You can see here I've got a straight line on this shoulder pad, which doesn't look very fur-like. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in with the toothpick and we're going to apply pressure onto the green stuff to push down to raw plastic. And we're going to make this sort of forward-backwards soaring motion. And that's pretty much going to clear the green stuff from that area and leave us with these little...
Sorry, I'm not talking much right now. This is actually...
This is where you can really start to have fun.
Intense concentration.
Green stuff has come clear.
Well, not just that. This is like fascinating to watch because it's like working.
Really makes some motion. So, for example, you can see this finger here. I'm going to curl that round as if the wind sort of
Becoming hairy right before your eyes.
Yes, actually.
It really starts to take your fur from, you know, 80%. Yeah, it kind of looks like fur to bam. That's definitely fur, 100%. So this is the part where you're just going to push in those edges. You're going to use that sawing technique, as you can see here. And you're just going to create these little wisps on the edge. It works really great on shoulder guards, on elbows, and also later on you'll see that I do it on the top of the pack. I think the main thing to remember is that fur is quite organic and it has quite a nice flow to it. So try not to get too hung up about making everything...
Yo!
It's going to look real different, you know. Natural fur is very different textures all over. So
This like worked.
just putting all these wisps in
I don't know how well you can see it since it's just green, but
curling round on themselves.
Well, yeah,
Nice texture.
right there, not quite so close. Move it away
Okay,
slightly.
so I'm happy where this model was going, but I've decided that actually...
You move it
I want
away
some
just a
more
little
fur
bit from there.
onto the back of that
Yeah,
head.
you can see a lot of the detail in there.
A little...
It still looks a little fuzzy. I think you need either more lighting or there might be a little focus issue.
so I'm going to use my metal tool to press the...
But
well,
I can't.
I also think I'm pushing this camera to its limit.
Right.
Just a note
Yeah,
here,
that right there. Yeah, you can see a lot of detail right there.
because the number of times I've sculpted a cave and thought, yeah, that's...
Holy crap!
And the next thing you know, I put my thumb in
I
So just make
Now,
sure
what
that-
color are you supposed to paint it?
so
I'll have to decide on that. I actually was thinking I was gonna get bold.
created earlier, and I'm now
Alright, here, let me stop the video. But
pack
Depends on what kind of dead animal you're simulating.
so, it's supposed to be fur from a creature called a tide wolf.
From a what?
From a tide wolf is what it's called.
How do you spell that?
Tide, like the ocean tides. Wolf, like the dog thing. wolf, tide wolf.
Oh, tide wolf. Okay.
They live on this aquatic planet. Well, mostly aquatic planet. Most of the people live on these volcanic islands, and it's really storm-racked and stuff. And there are these sort of like a cross between like a killer whale, a seal, and a wolf creatures called tide wolves. And I was thinking what I would do is I would try to paint this like a spotted seal color.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. I'm actually absolutely fascinated at how simple that was to do. Like, I'm standing up right now and looking down at it, and it looks like fur from where I'm standing.
Right.
I'm just blown away. Yeah, but the idea is that they're kind of... I'm going for like a seal whale theme with their totem creature, because it is like a swimming, like giant swimming dog things.
Right.
Did you play Monster Hunter at all?
Yeah, I played Monster Hunter.
Do you remember the Odo Garen, the red dog thing?
Yeah.
I actually have some STLs of different poses of that thing, and I think I'm going to use that as my base to actually make the models for those, for the Tide Wolves. Instead of painting it as like hide, I'd paint it up as fur. So, that's actually a really fascinating thing. Obviously, this model is painted. I'll probably just reprime and paint him at another point. Now, the question is, do I have enough time to work this into something? Probably not, huh? Get it kind of around the edge like that. I'm afraid to try. I actually think I'm going to go ahead and just sacrifice this bit, just because I know for sure that if I do a new piece of green stuff, that I know for sure that I have the time. Well, actually, before I get a new piece of green stuff, because this went so well. I'm actually so surprised at how well this went. Which does leave me with the question of, where should I put some fur on these guys? Now, I don't want to do like flat pelts. I'm waiting on the fur texture plate. That's what that does really well, is you roll some green stuff out on it and peel it away, and it makes a fur texture on one side, and you cut that up into the shapes and sizes you want and put that on and let it harden.
So I just put a picture in Discord. Is that like a tide wolf in the front of that picture? Are those tide wolves that are mixed in there?
Okay, so those are space wolves. Like the actual thing, those are called Fenrisian wolves.
Oh, okay.
My tide wolves are not a canon creature.
Okay.
So space wolves are the chapter of Space Marines that my Iron Tide wolves are descended from.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that some of the models in this picture have what look like wolf tails hanging off their belt and stuff.
Yeah.
And wolf pelts wrapped around them.
I don't know if you take a moment to look, but I actually just hung a wolf tail.
Yeah, I thought I saw you do that. That's what I was wondering if
Yeah.
that was kind of the effect you were going for.
Yep, exactly. In fact,
Okay,
those bits are STLs of the components you're looking at there.
Right. Well, that's cool.
But yeah, the question here is, what kind of fur do I want to add where? So I can't do like flat hides or cloaks or anything like that. Now I do think I want to do a fur collar for this guy.
I see plenty of pictures of ones that look like they're wearing fur loincloths.
Yes, but that's a like a flat hide.
They're fully armored and wearing a fur loincloth.
Yes, it's trophies, man. They're like trophies and displays.
Yeah, okay. I have a giant blaster weapon and I was able to shoot a doggy.
Oh no, these are Fenrids. You have to do that crap naked.
Oh.
You got to do it with a rock.
Nice.
And Fenrisian wolves do not travel alone. But yeah, it's like a semi-spiritual thing for them. It's not just a,
Right.
you know, they don't, yeah. They're obviously not wearing it for warmth. What, in their void sealed spacesuit power armor. Okay, so fur collar. Trying to think of what kind of... Ralof here definitely needs fur. He's going to be the most ornate of the group, by far. Just by his nature, he's the pack leader. He's the one who's in charge. What was that?
Then I was just yawning.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking through some other pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Some pretty cool ideas out there.
Yeah. I'm a big Space Wolf fan. I love these guys. They're my favorite Space Marines. Mostly because they, like, eat food. And, like, aren't complete buttholes, which is hard to find in 40k. It's, like, really hard to find.
Okay.
Okay. So I was thinking like a fur. Whoop. I'd take like a. Where would I put that? I think I would actually hang it off the back, because I think I was thinking of hanging like a triangle of fur off the back. Then maybe putting like a little skull thing on it. I'm gonna put Ralof aside for now, because I know I want a fur collar on him, and I want it to kind of come down and hang off the front of his thing, kind of like he's got paws, like almost like the limbs. Want it to hang off the front there. Maybe have like a third leg, maybe even go down the backside here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work pretty well. And that I'd have to do this way, because that's the flat textures are not going to work for that. Let's see. What do we think? I was thinking maybe it'll be a, again, I have to wait for the flat bits to get here, but I was thinking maybe like giving one of these guys like a half kilt.
Right.
Kind of around the side. Like a, what would you call that? It's not, it's
I'm
like
not
a,
sure.
huh?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a loincloth, but you don't wear it in front of your loins, you wear it off to the side.
Right.
Which I think would maybe fit this guy, the marksman looking one, the best, to kind of like, he's the patient hunter, and that's what his trophy of that is. Okay. So I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take the plunge. And we're gonna try and sculpt some green stuff all over this boy. somehow, along the way, this keeps getting loose. All right, here we go. We're trying it out, ladies and gents. Hey, Thompson, how you doing? We'll go ahead and turn the music back on since we are now no longer just watching a video. It's good to see you. I'm doing some sculpting. It's good to hear you well. How's RuneScape going for you guys? Here we go. Twist. Twist. Yeah? I'm glad to hear you're having fun. I see you guys posting about it all the time in the little group Discord. I have no idea what any of you are saying. Yeah? You think those meds are working for you? Speaking of which, I have to go yell at CVS about my meds. That's good to hear. Hey, do you have Tabletop Simulator? Excessive sleep. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Sometimes when I'm taking my my antidepressants, sometimes I get real sleepy. But if you have Tabletop Simulator, we should stream together, and I should show you how to play this game that these models are actually for. Because you can actually do that on Tabletop Simulator. We'll have to find the time to do it. Just kind of gotta get this. I just think I might have too much here. Yeah? Is your Discord going down? Interesting. I've been having some internet troubles myself recently. It's just weird, like, connection issues. Just kind of get in here and gotta bulk that a bit. I think it's fine if that's overlaying that. That down in there. I'm just working on the volume right now. I'm not actually like trying to put any texture in. I'm just trying to get this to be where I want it to be. And actually, I think I have decided I want to... I don't know why I dipped the green stuff itself in water. This is green stuff. This is a 2-part plastic epoxy. So it comes like this, and you mix it, the yellow and the blue, to make the green. And I'm sculpting it into wolf pelts. Into wolf pelt fur. Just kind of getting that in there, and I'm just trying to, right now, I'm just trying to get it into the places that I want it. Oh yeah, this is a thing you can do. I'm literally doing this for the first time right now. I just literally watched a tutorial video a few seconds ago. This is my first time. It goes over the back. Do I want a piece here? Kinda not. Okay, so no, I do want it. Okay. So I have it about where I want it. So now we're going to go ahead and do our detailing. We're going to kind of put the line like right here. So we're going to kind of... Get this back and away from his head. This bit needs a little more here. Wanna. Gotta keep at that. I'm so crazy at how well this works. I'm just losing my mind right here. Got this little area that kind of looks funky. Oh man, look at that! Look at that. See, he's got it down the front, down the sides. Wow. I'm blown away right now. Here, I'm gonna do a smart thing and click on a link. Oh, come on now. Let's keep that kind of stuff out of my chat, okay, Tom? In our Discord's fine, but I kind of want this to be a chill place to hang out. So, ugly bad news, yuck. But, hey. But holy crapola, look at this stuff! Look at how good this looks. And of course you guys have seen it through a not super mega great camera. But I got it going down the back here. Going down both front sides. Oh man, this is good. I'm really happy with this. Yeah, no. Well, I'm also pushing the camera to the limit. These things are very small. So a lot of the detailing, it's just going to be difficult to see in the first place. Okay. Does anyone else want to have this type of furs? Hmm. I could add like a... I'm gonna add a furred loincloth to this guy. Yeah, let's do that. That's way too much green stuff. Let me peel that off. And just set this here. And that can sit there like that. And we gotta make sure we get this part out because some of it may have already cured. And I would use more of the green stuff I was already working with, but I kind of ran out. Yeah, and we twist. Kind of stretch it, rule it out. We twist. Stretch it, roll it out, fold it. Stretch it, roll it out, twist. Roll it. My hands are wet. I want to keep my fingers damp for this so it doesn't stick to me. Getting there. Man, green stuff is cool, guys. This is sick. This is so fun. Kind of fun to just jam some goop on something and start blopping around with it. Okay. So, this is going to be kind of just right in his crotch, so. Kind of wondering if what I want to do is kind of kind of widen this out here, kind of like that, and then just do the fur pattern here. So if I nah, that doesn't feel quite right. Just kind of roll this end over just to shorten it up a little bit. Of course I did. More square shape like this. Just kinda, yeah, I think this is gonna work nicely. Whoop, roll that right off. Okay, just kind of want to get the wisps out there.
dry flat, but this one here, more rough on coating. When the wood dries, cut the piece 2 by 12. They will cut. You're gonna come here. So.
Gonna cut that away. Trying to get the texture back in there at the bottom. I'm trying to be real careful right here because this X-Acto knife is sharp and I don't want it to just go through the putty into my finger. There you go. Fur loincloth. How's that look? Kind of shaggy looking, but I think it looks fine. Looked like it kind of fits the Wolfie theme. Alright, so the pelts I want to put on the others I need the fur plate for. But I think for those two that went really well. Just stand me up and do me a stretching. Ugh. See, it is currently noon, so I think I've been streaming for about 3 hours. Oh man, I'm torn. Nah, I'm gonna keep streaming. Because I actually kind of want to stop streaming, but I don't want to stop playing with my models. But I promised I would stream this process. So, we're gonna get some stuff going. Let's see what we've got here. We need to get some belt gear on this guy. See what he needs. Let's see. What is the best? So I think we're just gonna start slapping. So I got a whole bunch of grenades and pockets and stuff here. We're pretty much going to end up starting to slap that onto places that the fur isn't. Now that I know kind of where the fur on these two are going to be, I can place things around, you know, with that in mind. And of course I broke another aerocycler because, you know, I chose to put a really fiddly bit on all of my models, and am suffering the consequences. Let's see, let's give him 2 grenades. Because they're going to need an abundance of these anti-armor crack grenades, because it's one of the things they use to bust through bulkheads and stuff. Also need to give him a pistol holster. Even though I will admit these holsters are itty bitty compared to the actual like bolt pistol that these guys wield. But it's really the only reasonable, feasible component that really works. Let's see. Probably want this here. Looks like we're gonna actually have to cut this additional pouch off because it's give that a reef down. So we're gonna have to cut this pouch off. We just gotta get right in the seam and it's real gentle. Work it in there. Clean it up afterwards. We're just gonna get this right in here, right on that. I'd actually use forceps to get it in there. Get that right on this hip plate. Just gotta slide that right there. There we go. Oh, nope, knocked it off. Got it. All right, that'll do. Let's get one of these grenades. I think I'm actually going to put one of these grenades here. We're going to kind of press it into the fur component right here. I know I'm just asking to make painting this twice as hard, but hey, we didn't start this project of 3D printing my entire own entire thing to play the easy game, did we? Oh, you know what? I do actually have a part I still need to sculpt. I didn't even think about that. There's a back bit here. Oh no. Well, I made a horrible mistake. Just gotta work that back in then. It's just the center here. That's not a big deal. It's already like a back. Right. I need to clean up back in here though. But I need to be careful not to tear anything. So this is my amateur hours, the back here, but I think if I just kind of slot it a little bit, it should come out fine. It'll be a little weird looking, but I think it'll be okay. Let's get some I don't think he needs one of these because he's got his sword here. And that's definitely not going to look like it fits. So we're not going to do that. So let's go here. There's a lot of glue. Will serve the purpose. That's okay. Oh, you know, I hadn't even thought about that I could get extra contact points for the arrow cyclers by using belt bits. Come on, get in there. I do not understand your incessant desire to roll over. Free yourself from my flesh, demon grenades. Adhere to the belt where you rightfully belong. Tools in there. That's probably enough belt gear for our boy here. But that marks the first member that is actually done to the point of being ready to pay. Boom. That's big. This is big. Because I'm not going to be adding any more components to him. This is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy about that. Alright. Now you definitely need a knife. That's right, these guys, support structure on these knives ended up weird because I had to redo them after a failed print. Oh no, what the is this? What is this? These are not the supports that I put on here. How many to go? Out of this group, there are 4 more. Out of the whole group, like another 32. I did not even realize that this misprint was so huge. It's literally, this is a solid piece of resin. This is not supports. This is a solid piece of resin all the way down to the raft. What was my Anycubic slicer smoking when it did this? Huh. Do I have other knives, knife sheets? I'm probably just not going to use those sheets anymore because they have just been a pain. They've misprinted once, or they've misprinted twice now, and now, after a manual adjustment, they've done the weirdest misprint I've ever seen. So we might have to wait on getting a knife sheath for this guy. That's a bummer. Let's see. I think we can still fit some other stuff to him, though. We can get him his pistol. Clean that up. Get that in there. And I'm I'm gonna clip off this extra pouch that comes on this, just because it doesn't seem to want to sit flush if I don't. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little super glue to that contact point with the handle and the arrow cycler, and that will hopefully strengthen it a little bit. And then let's take one of these. Just get it back up in there. Oh. And again, we're just going to add a little glue to the arrow cycler. Alright, he needs his grenades. Where do we put his grenades? Once I've done him, I think I'm going to go ahead and end up calling it here. But I've had a great time streaming. Had a great time streaming today. Glad I could have some people show up. Kinda glad I streamed earlier today rather than wait until like 6 something. There you go, that's a good spot for him. We can go with 1 grenades on this guy. I'm glad you enjoyed watching. I'm hoping other people will agree in the future. And that more people will come watch me and hang out and talk about Space Marine stuff and Dungeons and Dragons and modeling and other nonsense. Okay. I'm gonna call him complete. I'm very happy with this guy now. This guy turned from like, oh, I did electric shaving just to get a good pose, and it's kind of come out good too. This guy might be my favorite of the group. He's really well done. He has a lot of dynamicness and character to him. I'm very happy. I do have one last thing actually I gotta do. Did I manage to... Yep, there it is. Did manage. And we're going to reattach an arrow cycler once more, because this is my punishment for making silly design choices. But we're sticking with it. It's in there. We're just going to leave it. We're not going to touch it anymore. Nope. And there we are. That would be 2 out of 5 are now, like, down ready for painting. Like, all the way ready. These guys are, once they've cured and settled all their components together, and the green stuff has had its chance to harden, these guys are now ready for the priming stage. I'm very happy with how well I managed to figure out that green stuff. That actually came out really nicely. Alright, I'm going to call it here. For those of you who watched, thank you for watching. And I will see you all another time.